A Carnegie Institution for Science audio press release for September 16, 2010. Optimizing Climate Change Reduction. Scientists Ken Caldera and George Van Weiss at the Carnegie Institution's Department of Global Ecology have taken a new approach to large-scale geoengineering projects, such as erecting giant mirrors in space to reflect solar radiation, or injecting aerosols of sulfate into the stratosphere to make a global sunshade. Past modeling of the sulfate idea looked at how the stratospheric aerosols might affect Earth's climate and chemistry. Instead, the Carnegie researchers asked, if people decided what kind of climate they wanted, how would they determine the optimal aerosol distribution pattern that would most closely achieve their goals? We know that sulfate can cool the Earth because global temperatures have decreased following volcanic eruptions. Past computer models indicate that injecting sulfate uniformly into the stratosphere could reduce the surface temperature of the Earth. However, the equator would be overcooled, the poles would be undercooled, and Earth would become drier, decreasing surface water runoff. The Carnegie scientists ran 5 simulations using a global climate model with different sulfate aerosol concentrations depending on latitude. An optimization model determined what distribution would come closest to the specified climate goals. They then tested these distributions against the global climate model to assess how well the climate goals were met. They found that changes in temperature and the hydrological cycle cannot be simultaneously minimized because the hydrological cycle is more sensitive to changes in solar radiation than our surface air temperatures. More sulfate over the poles than tropical regions produced a temperature distribution more like a low carbon dioxide climate, but a uniform distribution of sulfates better diminished changes in the water cycle. The right amount of uniformly distributed aerosols diminished temperature change by 90% and the change in water runoff by 2/3. A non-uniform parabolic distribution that varied with latitude reduced temperature changes by 94%, but reduced runoff changes by only 1/2. Despite much talk of tipping points, the optimization model worked well because much of the climate system is very linear. However, this research uses only one model and does not include all significant real-world processes, so it's not suitable for making policy decisions. Rather, the study was aimed at developing a new methodology for looking at the climate problem. The scientists stress that geoengineering is not an alternative to reducing greenhouse emissions. For instance, it doesn't reduce ocean acidification, and it has associated risk. The research is published in the September 16, 2010 issue of Environmental Research Letters. For more information, see our website at carnegiescience.edu. This is John Strom for the Carnegie Institution.